just want some honest beers.
Welcome to Honest Beers. My name is Leggy, and as always, I'm joined by Walley. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate, for the second time this week.
It is the second time. It's been nice to see your hatless head. I don't mind it.
times.
Hairstyle,
Yeah.
it's good.
I'm not massive on it, Simon.
Have you? Is this your first? Oh, look, I couldn't remember.
This would 100% be the first time I've been on camera without a hat.
On camera in general.
I honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. I used to wear one on 3 wide.
Integrations.
Always. Oh, yeah.
Integrations you did. Yeah.
On a piece of content, it would be very rare. I mean, there would be examples of it, but usually if I'm doing something like if I'm involved in, if it's a show or something I'm doing, there's usually a hat.
Well, we obviously had Matt Short on earlier in the week in our first episode, and he probably just thought you were all business for him.
Yeah,
he thought,
there you go.
There's two captains in the room. Who's the most formal? Who's the one that's big dicking themselves? And maybe that's what he thought you were doing.
I really enjoyed that chat with him.
It was good. No, he's a great fella. He's got a good story. Obviously, a bit disappointing to have not been selected in the World Cup. But he looks like he's just taken on the chin and he's ready to go. Big year coming up for him, no doubt. But look, Wally, it's a big episode for us coming up because we spoke to Matt. Make sure you listen to that episode. But we've just got to now talk about every other thing that's happened over the last few days. So recording on a Monday, as always, and we are 24 hours removed, Wally, from, I would say, a heartbreaking, in some ways, loss for the Hawks. And I want to bring up one thing to you, and I want to get your thoughts. Yeah. Is there a Simon League curse? Because I've obviously been a tormented, traumatised St Kilda fan for all of my life. And then St Kilda lose to the Hawks. I commit myself to the Hawks in terms of by way of a membership. They play unbelievably well for 3 1/2 quarters. They're up by got to 40-something points. And then they lose in the last 7 seconds to Port Adelaide. It just felt like I've brought this pain to you.
Simon, it's bad. Right? It was just, I felt for you because it was so exciting. We were texting earlier.
We were. I'm like, how good do we look?
Yeah, we're going to win a flag. Is Hardwick the second coming of Jason Dunstall?
That was a text message that was sent.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, he is so, the 100K boys put that out too, and they had Hardwick and had Jay Dunstall.
Yeah. It's a great narrative, and he loves that ground too.
Oh, it's so good. That end.
He owns that end of the Adelaide Oval.
It's insane. Yep. It's like maybe, and I've been hit up. A couple of people actually hit me up saying he requests a trade next year to one of the Adelaide teams so he can play there for 11, 12 times a year.
Kick 200 goals a
season.
Look,
mate, it wasn't good. It's the most supported I've felt after a loss since the 2012 grand final, which is weird because it doesn't really matter for us. The amount of text and messages I got through, Eric, of course.
Yep.
From a range of people that I haven't seen in a long time.
That's nice.
Some of our closest friends. And Port Adelaide people, Hawthorn people. I did get one off a mate, Jess, who's a mad hawk. And I laughed. It made me feel better because he goes, I'm pissed off. He goes, I was looking at the live ladder like halfway through the last and we're only a couple of games out of the 8. And I thought, the good thing about this, because the hopes will kill you. The good thing about this is this just snuffs any hope because if we'd have won this and then I have to start...
We've been 4 out of 5.
I know. And then it's like I've got to start thinking about, hang on, what's going to happen here? And then I've got to start caring about results.
Yep.
I care about the next premiership.
Yep.
I don't care about what happens this year because we are not able to win a flag at the moment. So avoiding that hope. Well, it was brutal. It was actually, I was sitting there shattered. Jack had already run in halfway through the last quarter, so he might have mozzed us nearly as bad as Campbell Brown did. And he moved us up the ladder on the fridge. So he did that before the end of the game. But in fairness, I always go in and he's moved Hawthorn up and he's a good boy, Geelong. He moves Geelong and Essendon at the bottom all the time. So he knows. But, mate, it was brutal. Port, like...
I said to you before, and I've said this to a couple of other Hawks fans, it's not the worst result because... One, you showed that you can obviously play footy. You can hang with the good teams. Your young players get exposed.
Yep.
But you don't sacrifice your draft position.
Yeah, we're not going to do a North Melbourne.
No. It feels... So, like, again, you don't... and this is what a lot of teams do. St Kilda have done it many times. You don't want to win like 9, 10 games and be in no man's land.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well,
you've already won 3. So
I've been happy because we haven't won a wooden spoon since like the 60s. So you don't want to win spoons. I've never experienced one in my life.
Yeah.
So you don't want to win them.
Richmond and North will be fighting for that. So
Yeah,
I think
you don't want to win them, but you obviously still want a top 5 pick while you're rebuilding.
Yep.
And then, I mean, that being said, I'd probably take a spoon for Harley Reid.
True.
But anyway,
we will talk about.
I think we're going to.
We are going to talk about that. I've got some views on Harley that I'll bring up. But before that, we've got to check in on. So Friday night, at the Friday just gone, you did mention that this was going to be your one night off.
Yeah.
Dry May. You had the school dad's night, and then that now meant obviously no Mexican for a month. So firstly, Michael, I want to ask, what was it like having some cold, crisp beers on Friday night? And secondly, you're now 3 days without Mexican. How are you going with the withdrawal symptoms?
No, I was drinking the whiskies on Friday night. I was drinking the Jamo.
Sure, you had a beer though. Did you have one beer?
Did I even have a beer?
I would fucking die for a schooner at the moment. I can't wait for this month to
I had a
end.
beer when I got there. It's
We're
weird. I
drinking
don't remember.
it
wasn't like. I'm going to say this right now. If this was a month or 2 or 3, if this was the 1st of June, I would have been below the gate. I really wasn't. I reckon I got there maybe at 6:30 and I was home just after 11. So I reckon I was
a good stint.
4 hours maybe. That's not a lot.
You can get to it. You would have got through a bottle of Jamo in that time, wouldn't you?
I could. But I just said, I worked through some Jamos. I was fine. I came in, Kylie said, she goes, oh, when you got home, you seemed like you were fine. And she goes, and then you didn't come to bed till and I go, listen, I did what I do, and I went on the couch, poured a whiskey, and I watched the press conferences, which I love doing, Simon. So that was nice. That was probably that was good. It was fun chatting to some of the dads from the school. That's fine, but I was close to pulling the pin because the weather was shit.
Yep.
I didn't feel really like going out. And I thought, I should go. I've said I'm going. I'll go.
Yep.
But the whole thing for me is like
It
was not worth.
I was going to say it's a big price to pay.
Was not worth the price. I'm already hearing. So I had for lunch on Friday.
Your last?
I had
the
a
last
Guzman Gomez Cali chicken, double chicken burrito.
Yeah.
And it lasted around 38 seconds. It was quick. It was swift.
Yeah.
And
I've seen you eat stuff and quickly, and it looks aggressive.
It is.
It's like
it is.
Oh, it's aggressive. It's real.
So I really.
We spoke to Matt Short about facing James Pattinson and the aggression there, but you eating a burrito quickly is aggressive.
I had that. Now I'm staring down the barrel of a month without it, and it's shit.
Can I ask one question? Yeah. Going back to Friday, what as a non-dad, if that's a term, which I am, I wouldn't know what it's like. Are these all people you were meeting for the first time, or you knew a couple?
Knew a couple. So,
and what's the dynamic like?
So, firstly, I've a couple of people that sort of we know through other people, which happens. So, there's a couple of guys that I already had a couple of beers with over the journey. There was also another parents' night when we first got to the school because it's Jack's first year.
Yep.
And so we met a lot of people, and then there's so you're talking between a mixture of there's the dad you're trying to speak to because your kids have become mates.
Yep.
So you obviously want to spend a bit of time and get to know
Jack
them.
gave you a list.
Yeah, that's what he does. He does it well.
Yep. Lockie's dad and Will's dad.
Yeah.
Charlie's dad.
I don't think there's no Lockie, funnily enough.
Any Darren's?
Anyway.
Craig's?
No, there's no Darren's, Craig's, Trent's, Brent's, any of that.
That's
None of them. No Bruce.
Yeah, okay.
It's
all modern new age names like
I don't think it's many Bruce, 6-year-old Bruce is going, but they will all come back.
And Jacksons
mate.
and shit like that.
They come back. Henry has come back.
True.
No one would have called the kid Henry now. And now, when I was a kid, but now it's one of the coolest names out there. Anyway, just as an example, no Henrys either. But so that was good, and you're just sort of getting around. Didn't get to everyone I probably would have, but look, to be honest, it was just a group of guys watching the footy for the most part. Some caring a little bit more about SGMs that were on, and some caring a little less.
Yep.
And then just good, wholesome fun. Nothing and then went home, watched the presser, went to bed. That was it, and then got on with the normal dry weekend. Then on Sunday, Simon, I went to O'Connell's pub in South Melbourne, which is magnificent, Kano. I want us to do a full review there over a long lunch in the dining room when we're back drinking.
So in a couple of weeks?
Yeah. I think we need to do it, Kano. Yeah. We should go and do it. I really like it. It's a beautiful room to go and do that.
As a non-drinker, what tickled your fancy?
I had a non-alcoholic Negroni.
You sent me a photo of this.
It's not bad for what they are, because Negroni is one of the ones I go, I'm having... Do you know what I will say about this? I will say this. It's Sunday.
Yep.
at lunchtime. I know I've got some things to do afterwards. I'm going to watch the Hawks. I'm probably not going to have drinks. I love a long Sunday lunch and some wines in the arvo. But if I have shit to do, but I would love to be able to have a Negroni that tastes like a Negroni. And then have a glass of red that tastes like a red with a steak, and then just them be non-alcoholic. Negroni was actually not bad. Problem is, the wines are no good. I'm not even going to try it. Like, you cannot get a good non-alcoholic wine. It's not going to happen.
I haven't tried.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother, right? I'm not going to bother with it. The beers, they reckon are good. The gins are okay. And that's how you get the Negroni.
I was at an event with Kane and Amy on Saturday night, and Amy was drinking a non-alcoholic. Was that a Riesling or a
Pinot Gris? She said it was terrible.
Yeah. So there you go. There probably isn't one. So there you go.
But the 1st of June couldn't come soon enough.
And we've got one full weekend and 2 Fridays.
Why don't we go that week?
31st is a Friday.
That week afterwards. Let's go to a long lunch or something.
Yeah.
That week. Let's find some time.
I'm 100%.
Maybe the Thursday of that week after the 1st of June.
Or we watch the footy at night somewhere.
Is the Thursday
is
night
it dead by then? I don't know. Probably is.
We've got 3 more weeks. So
okay, let's do that.
We could do it. We could do it here, bit of a live stream.
That'd be
You
good.
guys can be the alternative commentary.
Punch some schooners. That'd be great.
It's Adelaide or Richmond Thursday night. Go to a long lunch, come in hot.
I'd love to hear that
What could
commentary.
go wrong?
Nothing could go wrong.
Anyway, that's just, we'll stop talking about just our plans.
No. Let's
my
move
point
on.
is, I'm already thinking it did not scratch the itch at all. That I thought it would. It was fine. It was a night, but to be honest, I'm finding this a lot easier than I thought. I just miss some of the social stuff. So I was not. Last Saturday, I didn't really feel like a beer all day. It was when we got to the Orong. And we had
those situations.
It's once you're in the moment. That was why
you just want a couple of schooners.
I enjoyed having the drinks at the pub, because I'm like, if I was here, I would have. You just don't last because you just don't want to be there. But that's it. Whereas Sunday was a bit different. I was at lunch. Yeah, it would have been okay, but I was there with the family and I was fine having it. So it's more the scenario. There hasn't been a point where I'm climbing the walls going, fuck, I wish I could have a drink, which is good.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we've got one thing in our lives under control.
I think I agree with you. Just the last point on this before we move on. I think it's the Sunday for me. It's at the pub and you could just have a couple of schooners. That's all I'm asking for. That's what I'm missing. Friday, Saturdays, I haven't really been.
The wine in front of the TV, the 3:20 game.
Yeah, it's not
something
bad.
on the stove. Yeah, that's probably for me.
Or,
let's be honest, Friday night after the week, footy, beers.
Well, I'm going to be in the MCC on Sunday for Melbourne St Kilda, and I'm not going to be able to have a drink. That's going to be hard, and we're probably going to lose, and I'll be paying. It'll be painful. But anyway, moving on, because it's the return of Rational and Irrational Gripes,
which I like.
And I just wanted to. I've got some views, and I wanted to throw some stuff at you, Wally, and I want to get your take on it. Obviously, tell me if it's rational or irrational. But I think this is going to bring about some discussion. So, Harley Reid. There's no bigger fan of Harley Reid than me. I think he's going to be a superstar, potentially a generational talent. I have also been fortunate enough in a previous role in working with Puma to do some stuff with him, some shoots, and I can guarantee he's a lovely kid from a great family. So I'm all in, right? I want him to be as successful as possible. But I think the media coverage of him is just fucking terrible. So for starters, I feel like he can't take a trick. So plays unbelievably well against the D's last night. Just incredible. Bloody fending players off, doing the dusty fend, all that sort of shit, right? Robbo today writes, he's the best first-year player ever.
So let's put some more pressure on the kid.
He's 9 games in. He's 9 games in. This is also the same media that said after 2 preseason games when he had 7 and 8 disposals that he might be a bust. This is also a week after they said last week when he was sort of semi head-to-head against Nick Dacos that Nick Dacos smashed him and that he shouldn't hold a candle to Nick Dacos. And then, as you pointed out,
2 weeks ago,
the Kane Corns comment about training standards and cramps. My gripe is with it's either really, really great or really, really bad.
We're going to pump him up so we can trip him up.
This kid's 18, 19 years of age. He is doing everything right. Of course, he's going to have good and bad moments because he's not perfect.
Yeah.
And I just think the really, really great or the really, really bad stuff needs to stop, and we just need to celebrate him for what he is, because the pressure that they're putting on him, I think, is ridiculous. And that's where you start to get the social media commentary. And if he plays poorly now, probably people are going to want to smash him on social because they're sick of the way he's covered in the media. And I can just see this being a little bit ugly over the next few weeks, Wally. So wanted to get your views on, is that rational? Is it irrational? And I want to kind of spark, I guess, your views on this as well, because I think it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. I think we just need a bit of a temperature check in the media.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Like, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I was having a look. I had a look just then. I'm just double checking the market, but like, he's a short price favourite for the Rising Star.
He was $1.30 at one point.
Yeah, he's $1.20.
Shit,
but
okay.
like Sam, there's a lot of talk in the media about Sam Darcy maybe as well. There's certain people talking about how it's a 2-horse race, and then there's Warglaw as well. So we're talking about a guy that is not even halfway through his first season and may or may not win the Rising Star. He probably will if the trajectory continues, especially after the weekend. But like I also saw on one of the, I think it might be our man Damo does the, on AFL.com does the, the MVP for the round, and it's a 5-4-3-2-1 the whole round. Harley Reid, I believe, is leading that now. Like off the weekend, it's like, does Harley Reid, like, did he get all the votes on the weekend? Was it? It wasn't as good as Petrarca's game. It just wasn't. Was it better than Waterman's game in the same game? Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think.
But my point is this: is that do you know who's not even in the top 5 of that? By the way, is Isaac Heaney. The bloke's probably leading the Brownlow by 8-10 votes.
Yep.
So he's been he's been the best this year. But
Agreed.
it's not even that, because no one's saying Harley is going to be awesome.
He is.
He's single-handedly
I'm cheering for him.
changing that club, like in the perception and all of that in the relevance.
They're walking taller with him for sure.
100%. And I think Waterman's another reason for that. Those two guys. But he is changing the perception and people's interest levels.
Yep.
So that should be enough. Why on earth? But like Robbo's just, he just sits there and goes, bah, and says something. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, look, we're taking his opinion with a grain of salt, but it's just disappointing. I think that
Just let him,
what it
let
leads
the
to.
kid
let
play.
Just let him play, and let's not be so sensationalistic. That's just my views on it.
I think it's great. The Kane stuff I found hilarious. I'm like,
I mean, Kane just wants to wake up with a bean.
But that was hilarious. Like to go, he's cramping up. It's like, mate,
yeah.
Come on!
Can I say something on this? So I thought it was a prank. Did you know that Kane Corns' son has got a show on SEN? Did you?
I did know that.
Did you know that, Wally? Has Kane got Hutchie bent over a barrel that far that he somehow managed to get his kid to get a show on that network? It's just extraordinary.
Hutchie's always been pretty keen to get like really, really young talent. He's got that other young fella, Max.
He's very good, Max.
Yeah,
He's got a podcast.
I will say this. I can't speak for... I don't know anything about his son, and I don't know this. I'll say one thing, though. If you had... There's another one in the media as well, but if you had someone making decisions that are based purely on commercial decisions, there'd be 2 in the country, and I reckon one's name's Eddie and the other one's name's Hutch. I don't think that would happen. I just reckon Hutchie is just too shrewd for that. I honestly don't think that anybody could have Hutchie over a barrel. Yeah. I might be biased there, but I would say, I haven't listened. I have no idea.
It started yesterday, I believe.
But I assume it's SEN Adelaide.
Yep.
Yes, that's why. I believe it or not, Simon, I don't get that on my AM dial.
No,
I
but
get the
I don't
Victorian
listen to it
channel.
either. It's social media is what it was all over Twitter.
I haven't seen... Well, see, it's why you're living on Twitter. You and Elon hanging out in your fucking trucks. Listen, mate. Come over to Instagram where it's nice and fun.
Just because I peruse Twitter doesn't mean I'm not across Instagram and TikTok.
I actually don't know, but there's no way. There's no... I don't know. Have you...
I didn't listen to it, no. I'll give it a listen.
I'll have a listen and do a bit of
he might be really talented. I just feel like it's the definition of nepotism, but that's okay. Last week, Wally, we answered a few questions from the Honest Beers community, and they threw up some very good suggestions around, some things we could do better. And Kingy had one for you, Wally. He said that he wanted you to provide some advice for your son, Jack, before he turns 18. So not just, we're not talking like, punting it, because not just because he's 18, it's punting or drinking. It's just general life stuff, almost like in a time capsule form. So when Jack grows up and he listens to Honest Beers, he listens back to all these episodes, I'm sure he will, he can look back and you've given him some advice. So one piece of advice per week is what we're going to ask for you, for Jack. This is stuff that you haven't told him yet, I assume. What have you got for him?
I actually jumped... So this is the thing.
But also, people could apply this to their own lives.
100%. I actually did... I have a list. Now...
An honest list.
There's a list of different pieces of advice I have for Jack. And I don't know whether... there's a variety here. There's things you would say about budgeting. There's things about travel. There's things about food. I thought maybe what I would do is give some advice this week on a couple of tips for travel. So there is a couple of tips for travel.
Sure.
Not time travel, Kano.
So when Jack goes to schoolies?
Airplane.
He'll be able to do this?
Is it airplane or aeroplane? Can we get to the bottom of this?
I think it's airplane, but people pronounce it incorrectly.
Aeroplane.
I've seen it spelt aeroplane.
I reckon
aeroplane jelly.
Is that 100%?
Is that the same thing though?
We need to get to the bottom of that. Aeroplane jelly.
It might be right.
Yeah, the movie's airplane. Aeroplane jelly. What do you say? I say aeroplane.
I just say plane.
Oh, this guy.
No, only because I'm not sure. If I'm not sure, that's why.
That's so smart, actually. I
just say I flew. I'm going on a plane.
I never hear someone say airplane, but I hear people say aeroplane.
But there's a movie called
Airplane.
Yeah,
but there's a jelly called aeroplane. It's airline.
Well, Angus and Julia Stone don't sing "Gonna Take You on a Flight" on a big jet aeroplane.
No, they just say big jet plane, don't they?
They do. Yeah. Thank you, Dana.
I'm like, I was wondering where this is because it's good.
All right, so I'm going to.
So this is advice for travel.
Yeah.
Okay. Travel by himself without you and Kylie.
There's a few bits. Okay, so in terms of, I don't. First things first. I don't care. I'm not going to be. I always carry on. Always don't know. I don't care about any of that.
Get
you
travel
take
insurance.
what you need to take.
Yep.
Just do all of that. Like you get you to the airport. A few things. If you are traveling domestically, don't stress if you're running late to the airport. As long as the check-in is you're checked in and you don't need to check bags, or if you're getting there and the check-in for bags is still open. As long as you're not like after the plane, you're going to get there. What will happen at the airport is the announcements will come over and people will come up and you just go up to anywhere and go, I'm on a plane that leaves in 20 minutes. And they get you there because they don't want to have to deal. They give you every chance. They give you every chance. Yep. They are not leaving without you. So just don't worry. Do not stress. Just get there like a normal person. Half an hour, 45 minutes, a maximum of an hour, an absolute maximum of an hour before a domestic, couple of hours for international.
Yep.
The days of 2 hours before an international flight, they are gone.
They are gone.
They are gone. We just walk through. Like the checkpoints in that now are so easy, especially if you're traveling to like the allied countries that Australia have the passport deals with, like the States or plenty of the places in Europe and some in Asia and that. Like, 100% fine. So don't get there too early, mate. You got better things to do. Don't stress about it.
Love it.
And just on that as well, you just fly when you want to fly, but it doesn't hurt to look ahead at like when you're going and when you're going to lob at places like LA or like driving to the air. Check your timings. Because driving to the airport, you don't want to drive in peak hour and things like that. But regardless, I said I wasn't going to go into that.
Don't get too granular.
It's when you get to the airport. Yep. Then, when they're boarding the plane, when you are boarding the plane, get on in the first half. People that are too cool and stay in their seats in the lounge, they're going to be sitting on a plane or they're going to be sitting there at the waiting lounge, right? And everyone goes, oh, look at all these idiots. No. You will lose your bag once when they go, overhead cabins are full, we've got to put it underneath.
I've seen it happen.
It's happened to me twice, once heading to Chicago, once domestically.
Yep.
And I'll tell you right now, once that happens, you'll want your bag. The only way to guarantee, because there's not enough room and they don't check how many carry-ons there are, the only way to guarantee that your bag will be above you, the only way to guarantee is to get on the first half of the plane. Then guess what? You can get settled and you can sit. You were sitting out there, you're sitting here, you're sitting out there, you're sitting here. Also, if you get up to the front, you're actually standing in line for less time as well. So, would I rather be standing in line for less time, know where my bag is, and then sitting in the seat where I don't have to move from, or sitting somewhere longer or standing somewhere longer, getting on and not knowing if my bag's going to be anywhere near me, or God forbid I've got to put it under my seat, and then it's a pain.
Pain in the ass.
Then, and I've spoken about this before on other podcasts, that everybody on the plane, and this I say to Jack when you're older, please do this. If every single seat, if someone gets up and someone has to stand up in each aisle and then opens up and gets their bag ready, if no one does, everyone's going, oh, look at all the idiots standing up. If no one stands up, it's going to take you an extra 10 minutes to deboard the plane, because it means every single person if everyone sits until the line goes above, they've got to get up, then get it down to that.
Because people get it up and place it down next 100%. To them and then walk out and then other people come. Or they grab it for them and hand it to them.
And Jack, aisle. Go aisle. I'm an aisle guy.
You. Big aisle guy.
I'm an aisle guy.
Always.
And then I always stand up. I get my bag.
Yep.
I go back down. I sit. I say, can I grab anything for you? Oh, we're just going to... My aisle is usually quite organised.
Yep.
It is. It really is. Okay, so that's very, very important. So you do that and then you're in great stead. Lastly... Jack, if you are fortunate enough to be able to travel for work, if you are fortunate enough to be able to travel a lot, lock in on your preferred carrier, whether it's Virgin or whoever it is, or you might be living abroad. You could be, who knows, you might be a punter in college.
Yeah.
I don't know. He could be based in Michigan. I don't know.
Could be an actor.
And it could be Delta.
A famous actor.
Any of this stuff. But like, whatever your airline is, you choose your preferred airlines.
Yep.
I'm just saying, you might be living abroad. And then that way you'll get, obviously, your points, but your status. Your status is the important one. Status credits are bigger because that's how you get the rankings. And then what you want is you want the gold or the platinum, and then they look after you in so many different ways. And they are actually valuable. But that's all fine. Your points, don't go and spend your points just on flights and things like that. Your points should be used for upgrades and upgrades only. So then you're paying base rates.
Huge.
And don't be afraid to hold them. Chat to the airline. Make sure they're not going to expire, all those sort of things. But use your points for upgrades. And definitely don't do anything stupid like use them for a hotel or buying anything on the store, like some luggage or something. And I'll tell you a side tip there.
Yep.
Anybody that buys luggage full price, you are kidding yourselves. Luggage is consistently 40 to 50% off. And if your brand isn't 40 to 50% off today, it will be in 2 weeks. Tourista this week, Samsonite next week, Antler the week after that, then back to Tourista. 100%. So there you go. That's all going in the capsule. That will help you with your airline travel.
Thanks to Kingy again for coming up with that idea, because I don't think that not only is Jack going to get something out of that, I think the general, and he did, to be fair, he did say when he asked the question, the general punter, but I think we're all going to get some stuff out of that. So that was great. A lot I agree with, and a lot that I learned as well, Michael. So very good. It's not criticism, only a bit of feedback, and you did it towards the end, but I think every definitive point you make, you need to address Jack. Like this is for Jack. Jack, do this. Jack, do that. Really just jack it up, I reckon. just really do it. Really speak to him.
Because I was smiling a bit seeing you barrel the camera.
Yeah. It was,
well, we'll cut that up because I'll need, each week I'll need this.
Yep.
Because these will go in the archives, so when he's older, and I can show him and just go, here you go. I'll be around when he's 18, obviously, Simon, but it's more just to go, mate, listen, I'm watching the footy, just watch this.
Yeah.
Saves me delivering the message again.
Yeah.
But no, very good. Yeah, thanks, King. He's great, King. He reached out to me too. He was absolutely chuffed that you picked him, so he'll be rapt to hear that.
Get around him. We've got to move on to the Statmate Multi, which fell agonisingly short last week after the $5.40 win that we will talk about.
I thought for sure, and I'll put my hand up there. Like Blakey, I don't know.
I don't know what happened to Blakey. He had 16.
Yeah, I know. But
Gould's 25.
I just would have thought it on kick-ins from, and that, and he would have been fine.
He's had a bad couple of weeks.
The other one for me was Walsh. I just misread that. I thought they put time into Cripps like they usually do. Instead, they put time into Walsh. So
that's okay.
Jordan
do you know what this
week
provides us with? Another opportunity, and it's all thanks to Statmate. We're doing a same game multi for the Bulldogs and Swans on the Thursday night, which is a couple of nights away. Obviously, recording on the Monday. I'll give my 2 legs first, and then you give yours. Michael. So my first leg is Baileydale of the Dogs to get 25.
Yep.
It's happened a number of weeks in a row, except for last week, but I'm willing to let that one ride. It was against the Giants. It was a bit wet. It wasn't the kind of game that suits a free-flowing halfback. If you take that performance out, he's been absolutely dominating since he was dropped earlier in the year. So Baileydale goes in, and you can get about $1.50-ish for him. And then my last one is $1.20, and it's Will Hayward from the Swans to kick a goal. It just happens every week. So let's just lock that one in. So they're my 2 legs. What have you got?
Okay, I'm going the route you went out last week with just Goulden.
Yep.
So I had a look at this. 8 of his last 9, he's had 25 or more, and then 24 on the other one. Also, last time out when he played the Dogs, he had 30. So I think that's good enough for me. The other thing is the price had some value. I think we got as big as 170 on lads for him. So Then the other one there is Adam Treloar for 25. You could easily have him for 30. He's averaging 32.7 for his last 10 games.
Yep.
The last time he had less than 25 was round 22 last year. Like, the guy's going to get it. But you could take the bigger price than for 30, but we're being safe because we want to get it home. 25 for Treloar, 25 for Goulden to go with your two.
So that's again to quickly reiterate, we've got Balliedale 25, Will Hayward anytime goal scorer, Goulden 25, Treloar 25. With lads, you get 364. I don't have an option for a boost at the moment. I don't know whether that's because I'm banned or whether it's too early in the week. Could be the former, but $3.64 is nice.
Handy. And we don't know, like, at the moment it's a Monday. So all the other bookies will be out by the time this is out. So go and do your shop, because who knows who will have the best price come Wednesday, Thursday.
Feel good about that one.
So do I. I feel good about all of them, but I really feel good about this one. Do you know why as well? You're a good call on Balliedale. He's not going to have two in a row like that.
The conditions didn't help. There was no free-flowing footy. It was a lot of bang the ball forward, a lot of tackling, a lot of stoppages. I think what maybe hurt us a little bit is that the ground where we lost last week, is a ground that we don't like. It's the SCG. We've said this on this podcast. It's the worst ground to watch footy. I don't like the dimensions. Viewing. I just think bad things happen on that ground. So let's fucking bin the SCG and let's get around Marvel. Simon's Choice is back.
It is.
It's back. We didn't do it last week.
No.
I'm actually, sorry, before we do that, it would be remiss of me to say this. We obviously mentioned on the last episode, but we are drinking, because you're going to do a review after this segment, so I need to bring it. We are drinking a zero non-alcoholic beer because we're going through this month, and it's a Guinness Walley that you've brought in, and it's actually not horrific.
It's not, in terms of, okay, if you don't like Guinness, you wouldn't like it. If you like Guinness, you go, oh, it's not really a Guinness, but it's okay.
No, but I think I don't mind it because I don't like Guinness, but it doesn't feel as full as a Guinness.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's definitely not. I would say that they have done pretty well.
It's not that bad.
No.
Matt Short drunk it last episode. He necked it. He was fine with it. So.
He said that would be his one and only of them, though, when he
I think we're both in that camp.
As come the 1st of June... Well, I told you, I tried a alcohol-free Negroni on the weekend, which is all right.
Yep.
I think next time we do it, because we'll probably do it next year on one of the months, I don't know if I'd bother with the non-alcoholics.
I think just drink vodka, soda waters and Coke Zeros.
Vodka sodas.
Fucking hell.
Hold the soda.
Yeah, geez. My brain is not working at all.
Got a fun little factoid for you.
Yeah.
Pre-show, you shook the can and you said there's something in it.
Yes.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So it's a small plastic ball inside the can. During canning, pressurized nitrogen is added to the brew. It trickles into the hole in the widget. Once opened, the widget's nitrogenated beer squirts into the rest of the beer, giving it a velvety texture.
Oh,
yeah, that's science. That is science.
Do that just with all beers? How good would a velvety just lager be?
I don't know.
Why can't Melbourne Bitter do that in their cans? Kano, one for next week if we can find that out, postmate.
Yeah, that's Kane's not going to put a second of thought into that when we stop recording this episode, and he knows he's laughing about it. Yeah, Michael, no worries, mate. On your Walley? Yeah, no, that's not happening. What are we doing here? Simon's Choice. That's
Simon's Choice. All right. We are deep into the NBA playoffs. You love basketball. I love basketball.
Yeah.
I thought I'd combine two worlds here. The NBA.
Yep.
And also, you know how we've been doing a lot of countries and continent stuff for Simon's Choice. So I've combined both. I've got 5 options here that we're going to go around, and I'm going to give you 2 players, and you're going to tell me which one you pick based on what I'm saying.
Can I say one thing before you throw it? Anthony Edwards is a fucking gangster, man. I just love him.
He's so good. He's legit.
Refreshing. He's honest. He doesn't give a fuck, and he's backing it up. So just wanted to mention that. But anyway,
the team, they look good, man. And Boston.
Well, I kind of thought whoever won that series wins it all.
Yeah, I'm tempted to be with you there. You can get them. You still get them at a price.
Yep.
All right. So we'll just start in the US, right? We'll start with an easy one. It's obvious. I'll go. Some of these are not necessarily the best 2, but like I'm going to give you a scenario for each. This is really simple. You are right in the middle age group where you would have seen the tail end of one and you've seen the whole career of the other. And I'm talking about MJ and LeBron. Oh. And we have also coming in playoffs and we've seen another attempted run. LeBron's longevity is obviously undeniable. The scoring record and all the other records, the place he has on all the all-time lists, playoff or regular season. And then you've got MJ.
Yep.
Which he just completely changed the game. Mate, you have one, and then that's it. You are in the position where all the NBA fans in the world go, all right, this is our guy. He is going to sit up here in the court, the magistrate's court of NBA, and he is going to reign on this and make a decision on who is the GOAT. Is it MJ? Is it LeBron? Who gets your nod?
Oh, because it's interesting you asked me that because I'm the one that doesn't enter this discussion because
It's why you were doing it, Simon.
Yeah, because I like to just appreciate them both, considering they're very different players.
Mate, call Meryl Streep. Ask her how hard Sophie's Choice was. These are not easy ones.
True. You know what? I'm going to go with LeBron James.
Oh, yuck.
I know you don't like it, and it's very hard. And it's only in the last couple of years that I've changed. But I think longevity. I also think, I know there's the numbers that he's putting up, like averaging 25 points per game for like 21 seasons is
it's amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that there's anything negative with obviously Michael Jordan. It's just I think it's LeBron James. I think the way that he's still playing at the age that he is at is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm going to put him in. I also think. Can I say one thing to you, competition? I genuinely believe, like he got the back end of Magic and Bird.
Legendary, yeah.
And he also, when they were going really well in those eight, he didn't win. He's got the back end of them kind of coming out, and obviously the back end of those Pistons who were done. I actually think the competition has potentially been stronger in the time that LeBron has played over the course of the NBA as a league as well.
And the only thing is that Jordan was in an interesting time because he played, then had to take on, they were those big center teams.
Yep.
So you had the Shaq team, the Hakeem team, you had the Robinson team.
Position-wise, there wasn't
Position-wise, it wasn't as much. Okay. Let me ask you one question then, and all my mind keeps going is when LeBron had the opportunity to like win their game in the opening round against Denver, and he was wide open for about 3 seconds at the top of the key and missed, which I just don't think Michael Jordan would have ever done. If granted body of work, and this is like the whole Brady thing, is the greatest versus the best and all that is a completely different thing. Tom Brady's probably not one of the top 5, may not be one of the best 10 skilled quarterbacks, but he is the greatest of all time.
Greatest winner.
They're different discussions. If I said to you, you can have LeBron prime, Jordan prime
to take the shot.
To add to your Indiana Pacers to make them go to the next level against the Celtics or whichever team.
Yeah.
Who are you taking for a series?
Oh, that's so
both prime.
You're right. You probably are taking MJ.
That's my point. I think MJ was a better player, but LeBron's career. Anyway.
The other thing, I just want to say one more thing on LeBron, which I think is pretty astounding. And this isn't saying that MJ wasn't this way, but he has never... You can talk anything you want about choosing super teams and all of that, but he's never let anyone down. Like, this is a guy who at 16, 17 years of old was on Slam magazine. He came out of high school. Everyone was just wanting a piece of him. And as a human, as a person, there's no scandalous behavior.
The decision
was bad. I will say that. That's the one area where he loses it.
But they've forgiven him, though. He went back and won him a title.
That's the one area. But I'm talking about like scandal.
No,
as a person, this is a guy who was set up to probably fail based on the hype, and he's been incredible as a role model.
Do you think he needs to be liked versus Jordan and Kobe that just did not fucking care? Like, Jordan and Kobe are better competitors than LeBron. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, they're more competitive. There's more
competitive.
killer instinct with them.
I think that's why Ant's going to be good because Ant Edwards, you have the feeling that he's got that.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's scary and he just can't lose.
I think there's a bit of that, but I also just think LeBron's a bit of a different player and that he's a bit more passive. Like he can play the game where he has 16 assists and 14 points and makes winning plays and they win. He doesn't have to be the guy that is shooting all the time. So again, that's where I hate the GOAT chat because I'm like, they are different players and we need to celebrate them for their different skills. The only thing I'll say that is potentially the only legacy killer for LeBron is that he's never been a defensive player of the year. Whereas
the others have.
Yeah. And I think, and he knows that. Like I saw he got asked in a podcast and said, what's the regret of your career? And he goes, the regret is that I haven't won defensive player of the year because I got everything else. And I reckon that's the one area that he may be somewhat tarnished.
Because he's been on the all-defensive team many times, hasn't he?
Well, I believe the year that he didn't win, that he should have won, the player who won, I can't remember who it was, wasn't on in the all and that's just a miss.
Like,
so that he probably should have
won
won.
the first 10
but again, he
year,
doesn't.
like.
So anyway, we could talk all day about it. It's a great question.
There you go.
Great fodder.
All right, next one. These will definitely not be as deeply need to think about. We're going to go to France. Would you rather have Tony Parker's career where he's got heaps of rings, he's done it all, he got to play with Tim Duncan, he was a really good point guard but was never discussed as like the greatest, or Wemby, who is touted to have become the greatest game changing, and it's all ahead of him. So your whole future's ahead of you and you haven't achieved anything yet.
Yeah.
All you are is a rookie of the year and a finalist for defensive player of the year in year one. Or would you rather have gone, he was a great player, he was an all-star, he was one of the best players on his team, but he wasn't the best, and he got all the rings. But it's all done in the bank. Which one are you taking?
It's a really tough one because Tony Parker's career is the safe option, given the rings. But I think, and I'm not saying anything that anyone doesn't know, Wemby's potential is like scary, as in he's a bit of an alien. Like
it's insane.
We've never seen anything like him in terms of his size, what he can do, and I think he actually overachieved in year one, considering how bad that San Antonio team are.
So if it was you, would you take him? And that's what I'm saying. You're in his shoes.
I'm taking the Wemby career because I think it could be like top 5 ever type career.
Now, this is all you're in their shoes. So I'm going to give you 2 careers, and you've got to choose one. Basically, is what's going on here. The next career is an Australian one.
Oh.
Do you take Luke Longley, who got to play with Jordan? He won 3.
Yeah.
He won 3. He was a role player. We know that. He's okay. Or do you take Paddy Mills, that still got some silverware, but just was the whole scoring force that the country had? Everybody loves him. He's just always there. He puts up every team he goes to absolutely loves him. Yes, he's neither of them, but no Australian has reached the heights of all-star consistently, apart from Ben Simmons, of course. But you've got the guy that's won 3 and played alongside Jordan, and then the other guy that's obviously been huge representing his country, but also still has a ring.
Yeah.
And is known and probably respected more as a player.
Yeah.
Which one would your career? Which path would you take?
It's hard because the first thought that I have is Luke Longley, because playing in that Bulls team would have been incredible. It would have been real rock star level of every time you show up somewhere.
Did he enjoy it though? It sounds like he didn't fucking enjoy it.
I actually interviewed Luke Longley for a documentary.
Yeah, I interviewed Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, but we've all done things.
Yeah. So I actually stayed in Luke Longley's ranch in Denmark, WA. I stayed overnight and interviewed him for a documentary. And he spoke about how he didn't enjoy a lot of his career. He had a lot of mental health challenges. And there were times where he would say to the team, like, I don't want to be here anymore. And because it was sort of the 80s, 90s, the mental health, they thought he was crazy rather than like, no, he's actually just got performance anxiety and mental health sort of trauma. So that, I think you're right, he didn't enjoy most of it. So my answer is, not because of that specifically, but my answer is Paddy Mills, because he's probably a better player, as you say. He still won a shitload of rings, or a couple of rings, but also he did something that only a few people have done, and that is to win an Olympic medal for the Boomers, which if you saw Andrew Gaze break down in tears about how the journey for an Australian team to win a medal at the Olympics is so big and how much pride they have in the Boomers and the Boomers spirit and all that. I guarantee you Luke Longley, Andrew Gaze, Shane Heal, players of that ilk, that generation would go, fuck, we'd do anything to get Australian success. And I think that's what Paddy Mills has done. Yeah. And he was a key component in doing that. So I think I'm taking Paddy, but it's a tough one.
A couple of Olympics ago, I reckon he was top scorer for the whole Olympics.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he was like,
or like averaged the most points.
Most points. Yeah, highest average, because they share it around so much. That wouldn't happen now because you got Luka competing. All right, next there we'll go to Europe, and I'm not touching Luka at this stage. I'm going with 2 big men. Dirk, loved, universally loved, respected, MVP, has the ring.
Yep.
Massive amounts of points, legacy locked in.
Yep.
The Joker. 3 MVPs, probably should be 4, but 3 MVPs. And he's got the ring, but there's always talk around him, and it's like, you know, he's still got time left. Where does he finish? and they just get so unfairly compared to other players now.
Yeah.
Which one are you going with?
It's hard because I'm a big Dirk fan. Like he would be, in all of my years watching NBA, he'd be like a top 10 player for me. Like I love him so much. But the career for Joker is still going, and he's won 3 MVPs and a ring, and you kind of have to take it. And the thing I love about him is it doesn't really feel like basketball is the most important thing in his life. He just rolls in and plays. He's like, I actually played against a lot of Serbian guys in just like Monday night leagues, and they're just kind of, I don't know, they just go out there and they pass the ball and they move and they play the right way and they just kind of do their thing. It's fucking wild, but that's what he does. And like seeing him, he's so unathletic. He looks like he shouldn't be playing professional
Very funny
sport.
too when he's talking about his athleticism the other day.
Yeah.
How does that land for you two? Like him not caring? Like how does it land?
I love it. I like players that are themselves, and like when I say not care, like he still cares. Like he's one like I'm sure he does everything possible. You do all the extras, he'd shoot all the free throws, he'd do all the training. But
Do you know why it doesn't matter? Because he wins.
yeah, I like well-rounded
If you're a winner, you can act however you want, because the main thing is for you doesn't matter what we think. It's the only person he's playing for is the franchise and Denver fans. Do you think Denver fans give a shit that he doesn't like it when he brings them a ring for the first time? Like, do you know what I mean?
I like that he's not flashy as well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like his own person.
If you don't care but you keep losing, and then you just want the money and all that, that's a different story. But if you're a winner and you don't care, well, fuck, who cares? That's
Good.
my that's,
Yeah,
that's,
I
that's
agree
how
with you.
I look at it. Anyway, so we go with him. All right, the last one is the ultimate future versus finished. We're going to Canada. Steve Nash, no titles, 2 MVPs.
Yep.
Very, very good career. Very safe option. SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP, top 3 this year.
Yeah.
I think he's your runner-up.
Yeah, he was close.
He
He
runner-up?
was.
Yeah, okay. But that's it. That's where it stops. But he's a young team. You would think there's rings in the future, but there's also no guarantees. Steve Nash, very safe option. But again, did he ever win a ring like as a secondary late in his career? He didn't. No rings.
He
No rings.
went to LA and
no rings.
They tried to stack
Yeah, with
that
Dwight
team.
Howard.
Yeah.
Was mentioned in a Nelly Furtado song.
There you go. Well, that's a tick.
That's big.
There you go.
I mean, when he gets caught out. Very, very tough. Again, I think it's convenient to always choose the younger player because you go, well, Steve Nash didn't win one. We know that. And that's kind of why I picked Wemby in that. Well, I guess Wemby was harder because Tony Parker had, but I feel like Wemby's going to be a genuine freak. I'm still taking Steve Nash. I'm going against it.
Okay.
I think that's a guy who got absolutely everything out of his game. That Phoenix Suns team revolutionized offense to 7 seconds or less, all of that. And he was a key component in that. I'm sure he looks back and goes, it would have been great to have won one. It would have been great if he and Dirk stayed together. That would have been nice. But I'm taking Steve Nash, even though Shai's obviously doing a lot of great stuff. But again, like everyone just expects it to be linear. Like what's this when the Thunder all played together with Westbrook and Durant and Harden, everyone was like, oh, like they'll win however many. Then they get broken up and obviously Durant's the only one that's won. There's a chance that this Thunder that happens again, right?
100%.
Money talks.
But there's
you can't
also a
keep them all
chance that he
together.
wins multiple MVPs. The other thing as well, the interesting for them is that Canadian team is going to start looking really, really
Jamal
good
as well.
So that is all of a sudden
Love that.
2 medals. I'd take SGA and MJ. Apart from that, I agree with you on the middle 3. But there you go. That's Simon's choice. It
was very good.
Really NBA heavy there.
I love
Kano,
it. We love
which
that.
It was good that we did that.
It was good.
Hey, this week we've had cricket,
We have.
we've had footy, and we've had NBA. Look at us.
How versatile are we?
There's some sneaky NBA knowledge between you two as well.
Yeah,
We do enjoy it.
We do enjoy it. Yeah, we probably should talk about it more now. That
Well,
we're in the playoffs.
and the finals and that, we'll definitely be talking about it.
Yeah.
We might do a list with our favourite 5 finals moments or something in the coming weeks, something like that. Something like that.
Fuck, that's great. That was
you
good.
go.
That was one of my favourite Simon's choices.
I thought it might have
we've
been.
had. It's good to go back down a memory lane.
All right.
And some genuinely hard ones too. But before we go, we have said we're drinking the Guinness. This is the 3rd non-alcoholic beer that Wally will be reviewing. Next week will be the last one. And so, Wally, how are you ranking this Guinness non-alcoholic? What does
So
it say? I just said St. James's Gate.
Pour,
Dublin.
enjoy, whenever,
Yep.
wherever, chill, open. There's a lot of words here.
440 mils. It's a fucking...
It's aggressive.
Aggressive.
And
steep.
just for our avid listeners, can you go over your criteria again?
Yeah, so my major criteria is how does it overall taste, and how does it represent like versus the original version that it's meant to be. So they're the two things.
Yep.
The overall, I like Guinness. So that's the first thing I'll call out. And we got this just because this is different. Rather than just doing 4 standard ones you see on the shelves. I didn't know this existed. I got tipped into it, as I said last week. I was able to locate them. Look, I would say this. In terms of the overall taste is pretty good. Now, the reason they sort of link, because the product itself doesn't taste ridiculously dissimilar to Guinness. It's just a bit lighter.
Yep. Which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. This could be the sneaky one, because what you're doing is you're taking away the heaviness of a Guinness.
Yep.
Which you go,
my thoughts exactly.
Oh, that's not bad that we're losing that, and then taking away the alcohol is that. So maybe this is the one drink that it's meant to happen with. That being said, if you've got an ice cold pint of Guinness with booze in, it's better. There's no doubt. But look, the overall taste's okay. The taste in comparison to what it's meant to be is pretty good. Like this is a sleeper. This could be like they're all going to be ranked next week. There is every chance that this bad boy here could.
It's not going to be last, I reckon.
Oh, there's no way it's last.
It's not going to be last
because I've already got it ahead. It's not last.
Don't give it away.
I'm not going to give it away, but it's not. It's not going to be last. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now. That's not bad. That's
not bad at all. I don't mind it. I think that's. If we were to do this again, I would consider it as a drinker. But again, only 1 or 2 because it's still a Guinness and it's. By
the way, nutritionally for its size, it actually stacks up carb wise.
Yeah.
As a similar amount to the 330 millers.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, there's not a lot else going on in them, but in terms of like the actual, like, and if you're drinking non-alcoholic drinks, surely you actually do give a shit about the nutrients because
well, you need to know how many calories, which I think the international beers don't
75
show that, right?
for the whole can is not a lot.
Oh, where does it say that? Am I
under the on the thing?
Yeah,
it's in the brackets underneath the kilojoules sign.
Oh, well, there you go. 75 is fine.
Does anyone measure shit in kilojoules?
I don't.
Feels complicated.
It does feel complicated.
It's like gallons and liters.
Yeah,
let's just
past that.
We are so
past that.
So anyway, my point being, this is not a bad sip for what it is. Stay tuned on that next week. It's a sleeper. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
My last question before we go: Do you know what you're bringing next week, or are you going to decide that? Okay.
Right. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
So we're bringing the Heineken because we have been told that Heineken is the best.
Still haven't had it.
So Heineken is meant to be the best of the non-alcoholic beers. Weirdly, Heineken is nowhere near one of the best beers. So.
Well, they were early adopters.
I reckon we could be in for a world where the non-alcoholic Heineken tastes better than a Heineken.
So
we're a genuine chance.
I had a Peroni on Saturday, the Peroni Zero, which we've already had on this show. Yep, so that was good enough. But I'm desperate for Heineken. I'm actually happy that this will be my first on the show.
Same. I haven't had one either. I've had the Peroni. Yep. The Peroni was fine, and what it was. We had the Capsule Brewing. It was fine. We elected to skip the Heaps Normal just because everybody goes Heaps.
Have you had it though?
No.
I had it. It's good.
Is it good?
Heaps Normal's good.
Maybe, do you know what we might do? You need a 5. I'm going to bring Heaps Normal, last one, and I'm going to bring in Heineken, and we're going to have a top 5.
Let's do it.
And do you know what? I reckon the top 5, whoever finishes 5th will be stiff because they're all better than some of the others out there. Like the one we had, the Better Beer one, the Carlton Zero, these ones are not going to be making the top 5. Yep. So just remember, this is not a good to bad. These are the best 5.
Yep.
I think, yep. All right, great.
Love it.
Looking forward to next week, Leggy.
I am too. Wally, you've been great. Look, good luck this weekend for your Hawks, our Hawks.
Yes.
Hopefully they finish off that game a little bit better. And as always, go Saints.
Go Hawks.